6.2 is quick. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be reviewing a 2022 Chevy Silverado ZR2. Before we get into the video, I do want to mention that this Silverado ZR2 is going to be at the Larry H. Miller Chevy in Murray for quite some time. So if you want to come and see one in person, they're going to have this one so you can look at it. And then also, if you are ready to order a Silverado ZR2, they do not charge over MSRP whatsoever. I know a lot of dealers are charging quite a bit over sticker for this truck because it's just crazy, it's special, it's awesome. And so yeah, they aren't charging over MSRP whatsoever, so they're the dealership to order from. I'll include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can contact them. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get right into this review. So under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 6.2 liter V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 14 around town and then 17 on the highway with power outputs being 420 horsepower and then 460 pound-feet of torque. And then this has an axle ratio of 3.23. Now let's go over the front end of the ZR2. First off, we have 11.2 inches of ground clearance with the ZR2 package. And also we have the 6.2L badge. And before you guys give me a hard time, it just rained this morning. So like, you know, it is what it is. Every single vehicle I'm filming today is dirty. But anyways, you can see here in the center of the hood, it looks so aggressive. And then notice here with the Chevy bow tie, we've got the chrome on the outside and then we've got the red accenting on the inside, and it's hollow. It's called the flow tie ZR2 badge. And then you can see here with the LED accent light and then the projector bulb there at the top. Red tow hooks here on the front end. And then you can see here we've got some aggressive skid plate action happening because it's a hardcore off-road truck. Got the fog light there off to the side. And then notice the accenting here. And you know what? I said it in the first review and I'll say it in this review again. This is hands down the best looking Silverado I have ever seen. It has so much presence in person. Now coming on the side here, we've got 18-inch wheels, and wrapped around that we have 275mm tires, aka 33s in the front and over in the rear as well. You can see the design here on the wheel. You've got the silver here on the outside and then the black in the center portion. And you can see here with the front suspension. Now we do have shocks from Multimatic. They're the DSSV shocks, similar to what you have on the Chevy Colorado ZR2, but obviously beefed up because this is the Silverado. You can see here with the fender flares, ZR2 badge on the side, and then notice that everything is blacked out with this truck, other than a few of the badges, right? So it has that cool sporty appearance from a side perspective. And the stance on the truck is solid too, as you can see. And then popping here into the rear, you guys will actually be able to see the shocks a little bit better. So here's the leaf springs. And then here's a quick look at the Multimatic shocks underneath. And then this has the high ground clearance exhaust tips, is what I like to call them. Basically just helps out the departure angle. Instead of popping all the way out past the bumper, they pop out here, so it helps out a little bit. But yeah, look at those shocks. That stuff is pretty cool. So here's our key fob. We have our unlock, lock, remote start, and then the drop down for the tailgate and the Chevy logo there on the back. Now, going over the truck, we have a payload capacity of 1,438 pounds and then towing capacity of 8,900 pounds. And we have the slow lowering tailgate. Now, popping here into the rear, you guys can see here with the lights in the bed, and then we have a full outlet. And then you can see the cargo light there at the top. And then the ZR2 logo there in the center. And other than that, that's pretty much it. Lifting up the tailgate, it's light. Finishing things up with the rear of the ZR2, you guys can see we've got the signature Chevrolet taillights, got our Silverado badge, Chevrolet logo, ZR2 on the side, and then body colored bumper that has the parking sensors. You can see the receiver hitch down below. And then we've got the bumper step as well. And there you go. So here's the rear door panel. You guys can see the padding here, and then you can see the trim just up above and then down below. Notice how that matches the coloration of the padding. We've got this in like neon yellow green stitching, looks really cool. And then the window control here, and then one of the door handles. Speaker for the sound system. And then here's the back seat again with that neon stitching. And then we have the behind the seat storage, and then lifting this up, under seat storage as well. And then notice here with the flooring, got our cup holders, heated seats for the rear. We've got some USBs with the vents, and you can see the storage pocket right there, and this also pulls down to be cup holder armrest situation, and tons of legroom, trust me. But that's all for the rear. Now here's the door panel at the front. You can see again, same thing with the theme and then the trim here at the top, and then down below with all of the padding and the stitching. We've got our memory seat function right here, and you can see the mirror there off to the side. Window controls, and then notice here with the mirror adjustments, the mirrors do power fold in, and then another speaker for the Bose sound system. Then here's the front seat again with all of the padding. Then you can see perforated here in the center portion, and then there's your adjustments on the side of the seat. We got our ZR2 logo, and then pedal layout down below. And then you got your light control right here, and then you've got our drive mode select and our drive line select all in the same area, so you twist it for the drive modes. You got your tow haul mode, and then it does have 4-wheel auto as well as 4-wheel high. Heads-up display. Steering wheel is power adjustable. Let's pop in. Now here is the steering wheel for the ZR2. You guys can see here with the padding all around and then the stitching here on the center portion. Controls here for the center stack. We got our voice command control, phone control, and then paddles here on the back for that 10-speed automatic. There are radio controls on the back on top of that. We've got our cruise control here, heated steering wheel button, and then notice we've got our turn signal / windshield wiper stalk, and well, that's all for the steering wheel. Now before I forget, heads-up display, as you can see, and look at the view of the hood. That looks so cool. So here's the center gauge cluster. Notice first off, you can kind of change how things look, which is pretty cool with that. But there's different menus you can scroll through here to see different bits of info on the truck. You know, pretty normal stuff here for a vehicle, but we've got the drive mode select that we can go through. So notice we have our off-road mode, and it shows the Silverado off-roading. Then we have our terrain mode that is specific here to the ZR2. I haven't seen that terrain mode on any other Silverado that I've reviewed for the 22 model year yet. If I do, I'll give you guys an update. Got our tow haul mode as well that you can go into. It's cool that it shows that little animation right there, and well, that's the gauge cluster. Now here is the center infotainment system. First off, we pop it into reverse. You can see we've got a backup camera with trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel. And then you see the different viewpoints here with the camera system, and then out the side of the truck as well, and then down to the receiver hitch on top of that. And we even have a bed camera. This thing is completely covered from a camera perspective, suffice to say. As for the rest of the infotainment system, this is the Silverado's newest infotainment system. It's got like this little storage space behind it, which is kind of interesting. But you have this side screen here you can scroll through. As you can see, we're just going to leave it to be a clock there. And then you have the main screen here, which you can also scroll through stuff, basically. Easy to use, response time's great, and you got double up on the home screen buttons, which is kind of funny. But that's all for the infotainment system. We got lane departure, parking sensors, our auto stop start function. By the way, that means they're on. And then you guys can see the tailgate drop down. This doesn't raise up, just drops down. Hazard lights, stability control, hill descent control, front and rear lockers. That is something that is important for the ZR2. This is the only truck in segment that has both front and rear lockers. Other trucks have rear lockers, but no front locker. You can see there at the trim that goes across, and also on the dash, you got more of that neon stitching. I don't know, I think it's cool aesthetic. Trailer brake control down below, and then we've got this for our climate system. Dual zone climate, heated and cooled seats here for the front. You can see the storage space right there. And then we've got the shifter here for the 10-speed automatic. Definitely feels good getting it into gear. Feels like you're doing something substantial. A couple cup holders. Then we have our center console here. Storage space, and also has a wireless phone charger. And you can see that whole setup. And then we have our double glove box. And then notice again the trim. And notice how that matches what the trim on the door panel. That looks pretty nice. So up top here we do have a sunroof. And then you can see the control for the power setting rear window. And then also for the sunroof. And then notice we got the camera mirror. Nice. Now here is the window sticker for the ZR2. Feel free to freeze frame if you want to read all of the standard equipment. Notice the base price of this truck, $66,300. The ZR2 comes fully loaded pretty much as standard. There are some options you can add to the truck, but there's a total MSRP, $70,935 on this particular ZR2 with how it's optioned. Let's take it out and take it on a little bit more of an extensive drive compared to the first drive that we did. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood. Again, the heads-up display, both the mirrors, and throughout the rest of the rear. And, well, I just reviewed a Silverado with a column shifter before this, so I tried to grab there. That's hilarious. Let's set off. So we are doing a little bit of a more extensive demo here with the ZR2. The first time I drove it, right, it was just like a quick little loop. But in today's video, right, we'll be able to see how it kind of performs in multiple conditions, and I guess also in traffic, because it's that time of day. First off, I love the just king of the road feel you get with the ZR2. It just, how this sits is perfect. You're just like above everyone else, and I'm not saying that we're better than everyone, but you know, kind of feels that way a little bit, right? And on top of that, ride quality with the new ZR2 is so smooth. Dampening's amazing. I kind of mentioned that in the first review, but yeah, just when you're going down smooth pavement, these Multimatic shocks do a really good job of just smoothing everything out and giving you a luxury experience. And you know, the base suspension on the Silverado is already really good. This kind of takes it up a notch, right? And I had a Colorado ZR2 for a week from Chevy, and I can tell you this feels different than the Colorado, right? The Silverado is a bigger vehicle, so of course it feels different, but like how this dampens and everything doesn't really make sense from an English perspective. But anyways, we'll just keep going on. How this does the dampening, right? The feel that you get is a lot better. Let's see if this Prius will let us in. And I guess this also shows that the ZR2 is easy to drive around in traffic, right? We got all this traffic happening, and it's great. Seat comfort's good too. These seats are on the firmer side, which I like. I kind of prefer that for an off-road vehicle personally. I don't want to like sink too much in the seat, because if I'm actually on a trail, right, I want to be like, you know, good posture, upright, and yeah, I don't want to be sinking the seat, because then you're going to kind of be moving around awkwardly, and especially if you know you catch air with the vehicle, then right, then you just want to make sure that everything's all good. Now we are about to get onto the interstate with the new ZR2, and I'm going to see how this puppy gets up and moves and how it handles high-speed driving as well. .6.2's quick. Love the sound of it too. So smooth too. Like in a regular car going over those bumps, it's a relatively harsh hit, right? Whereas with this truck, it's like floating on a cloud. Yeah, I'm really impressed with what Chevy's done from an engineering perspective with this so far, just driving this on road. I know this isn't necessarily the most exciting because of all this traffic, but hopefully you guys can see that just handling's great. Yeah, this will really show us right here in terms of the handling. You can kind of see coming around the ramp here. Yeah, Chevy did a good job with this. I will say that. And you guys gotta remember, this is coming from someone who owns a Gen 3 Raptor and a Ram TRX, right? Two vehicles with the most advanced suspension and shock system in the like off-road truck segment. And this truck impresses me. And that 6.2 is powerful. You know what I would be curious to see? So this has a 3.23 axle ratio, which, you know, helps it get better fuel economy. What if we just throw fuel economy out the window? Just say, you know what, who cares about fuel economy? And what if we re-geared this to like a 410 axle ratio like the Raptor? I wonder, I mean, this thing would probably just, it's already quick, but it'd probably make it even crazier. I don't know what's happening with this car in front of me, but they got their hazards on. But at least I got a highway drive here with the ZR2. And it's comfortable. So let's get into summing things up here with the ZR2 and with more in-depth driving impressions, you know, better than driving this at like, you know, 40 miles an hour and then going, you know, 20 miles an hour through a neighborhood. At least I got to go through like those dips and everything in the neighborhood to feel the shocks and how they perform and everything. But here's the deal. Exterior wise, like I said, I think that Chevy did a really good job with the styling, despite what people say. And here's the thing is, if you really don't like the fact that this has 33s from the factory, it's not that hard to just throw 35s on it, right? It looks like it, you know, again, don't take my word for this, but it looks like it has the space for it, right? So I think that would be an easy modification if you want more tire on this, just throw 35s on it. And moving from the whole tire subject with this interior, with the new Silverados, it's just a huge step in such a positive direction. The gauge cluster looks great, infotainment system looks great. This is a very nice modern feeling interior. This is something that frankly I would love to have in my life from an interior perspective. Like popping in this interior every single day, that'd be so fun. And there's little storage there on the side too. I didn't notice that before. So yeah, they've nailed it from an interior perspective. I love the neon colors. It just brightens things up. It makes this, it's an exciting off-road truck, and you know, it kind of goes with the exciting off-road theme, having bright colors, right? That's why all my trucks are wrapped crazy bright colors. Yeah, look at that. Just so quick from an acceleration perspective. And this is smooth. Yeah, I don't really have anything bad to say about the new ZR2 after spending a little bit more time with this. I guess, you know what I should end this video with? This is what the Gen 2 Raptor should have been, right? Because the Gen 2 Raptor has leaf springs like this, and the Gen 2 Raptor had, you know, nice advanced shocks, but they got rid of the V8 and they went for a V6. This basically gives you like the same experience you'd get with a Gen 2 Raptor, but with a V8, and it has a front locker. That's kind of where the ZR2 sits in my mind. But this interior is way nicer than a Gen 2 Raptor interior. Let's not kid ourselves about that. So yeah, that's more in-depth impressions with the ZR2. Cross our fingers, and hopefully I'll be able to take one of these off-road soon so I can give you guys an off-road review. Now let's get some things up for our video on this 2022 Chevy Silverado ZR2. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Chevy here in Murray for giving me some time with the ZR2. Check out their inventory in the description down below. And like I said, if you want to see this in person, it's going to be at their store. And if you want to order one at MSRP, they're the dealership to go through. I'll see you guys.